Okay.
We're here with Jackie Lee. She's in San Francisco right now at the Versus Games grand opening. Behind me is owner D. He's taking care of some business at this time. And what brings you to this area, Jackie?
D, I had met him at some Grand Prix that I had attended earlier last year, and he said that he was having a grand opening and he'd like me to join him if possible. And because I was in San Diego next week, it was a pretty easy, couple hours flight from there. So I decided to just stay another week afterwards and join you guys at the grand opening.
So, how did you hear of Versus Games in the first place?
From D. As I understand it, it's only been open for about a month, so he told me around the time that it was opening that they had planned the grand opening for this week, and it just happened to fit into my schedule.
So what have you been doing for the past few weeks again?
Well, a couple weeks ago, I stayed with my friend Brian Cole in Madison, and we just drafted for about 2 weeks, just trying to prepare for the Pro Tour. Afterwards, I spent the weekend in Portland with a couple of my teammates. So we were playing in Grand Prix Portland, which was modern, and none of us really tested a lot, but one of my teammates did manage to get second, Joe Demestrio, so I was very happy for him. And then following that, we spent the week with my friend Danny Batterman, who lives in San Diego, and we all just stayed at his house and tried to prepare a block for Pro Tour San Diego, and then we played in the event.
So did you have to borrow stuff just to play in the event?
I had most of the cards. I had to borrow a few. There were a few cards I might potentially have to borrow from friends, but I didn't end up borrowing them.
And which cards were you going to borrow?
I was going to borrow Blood Baron of Vicopa, because I was thinking of playing Esper, but I just decided not to do it at the last minute.
Okay. And what do you think about Legacy?
I think Legacy is a very good format. I think it's probably pretty difficult to get into because each play matters so much. I've only played in a couple Legacy tournaments, and I mean, I did as well as you could expect. I kind of just, the first tournament it was like, oh, Days is in the format? Oh, Wasteland is in the format? And then those are the kind of things that you just have to learn on a very base level to get into Legacy.
Practically every little movement actually counts.
Yeah, I think it's very good. It's probably a very good format. I just haven't played it nearly enough to be competent.
It's just like different military philosophies where the Marine Corps is one shot, one kill, and the Army is strength in numbers, right?
I suppose so. How do you suppose that relates?
Yeah, it's like different formats of the game. Each one has different philosophy.
Oh yeah, certainly.
What happens? Kill detention streak.
And do you plan to build a Legacy deck in the near future?
Yeah, my friend Danny Batterman, with whom we were staying in San Diego, he's big into Legacy, so I think maybe with his help I'll try to get back into the format and play it more, but for now I've been focusing on, standard, modern, block, all these things, so I haven't really had time, but I would like to do that more this year.
I understand that Ken Ho was here on day one when you were around. Did you get a chance to talk to him?
No, I didn't, unfortunately. I understand he's one of the better players that are local to this area, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to meet him.
Although he was right in the same room as you were, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I was spell slinging and just playing a lot of people, so I guess it just didn't come up.
So, do you plan to visit this area more often, San Francisco?
Yeah, I would definitely like to. It's a very nice area. I'm told that the windy weather is unusual, but it's nice.
Yeah, especially in this part of town where it's all foggy, and then if you go over the hill, it's like all sunny.
Yeah, I saw the fog bank on the mountain as we were approaching. It looks like a painting. It's pretty nice.
And about your artist occupation, how has that been going along?
Oh, I've taken a break for the past year, pretty much, but I would like to get back into it. I kind of miss doing visual arts, so that's another thing I plan to take up again.
I see. So, as part of your artist occupation, what tools do you use for your trade?
Well, various media, but when I paint on cards, I use acrylic paint because it dries very quickly. So I met somebody this weekend that I paint. He wanted me to sign an altar that he did, which was Disciple of Polis, and I noticed that he had used oil paint, and I thought that was kind of cool, but also unusual because the oil takes a long time to dry. So, you know, you can't just do it at an event if somebody wants, you know, a particular altar. Like, you can't just get it done for them if you're using oil. So I use acrylic.
I see. So what do you think about 3D printers?
3D printers are pretty cool, actually. I was thinking about applications that you could use them for magic, like making tokens and things like that, but it's not something I have access to, so I haven't really explored that yet.
So what do you think about this guy named Cody Wilson using it to print guns?
Print guns?
Yeah, there's a guy named Cody Wilson. He's a guy my age. He's figured out how to print actual guns with the printers.
I mean, making weapons out of common objects and other such things is it's not a new idea, right? People can always do that kind of thing if they want, but I think it's good to question your intentions and to understand your true intentions for things as you do them.
Collector beatdown.
I see.
Yeah.
So how many people do you expect? How many people do you expect to show up for your free draft?
I think there are 8 people qualified, or 7 plus me. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would expect all 7 to show up.
But what happens if all 7 don't show up?
Maybe we could have a last chance qualifier. Who knows?
And how many rounds? How many spell slinging rounds have you played so far since you've been here?
Maybe about 15.
15.
Yeah, I played in a standard tournament and a modern tournament on Friday and Saturday respectively, so that time I played people that I was paired against, so it was not technically spell slinging, but I think that I probably played about 15 games just outside of that scope.
I see.
And of course I just arrived here on Sunday now, so probably play some more today.
How many days have you been in town again?
I arrived on Tuesday, but I only got into versus games on Friday.
Okay. So what places did you explore around the city?
I went to a couple of local restaurants. I spent the morning and yesterday morning in a Zen center that was down the street from where I'm staying. So that was a good change of pace.
So it's downtown or right?
Yeah, the city center.
Okay, downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And thanks for your time, Jackie.
Yeah, thank you for having me.